What's up, everyone? Good evening. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another weekly market analysis. How was your week, guys? How has been your start of October and beginning of Q3? Let me know in the comments. If you are new, free to subscribe to the channel. So we basically in this stream are going to analyze the market together, look for the best opportunities for next week, try to see the direction that we can expect the market to go towards. We analyze different markets, FX, US indices, gold and oil as well, and just a major Bitcoin and Ethereum in crypto. So yeah, come along. Let me know any levels, anything that you want to talk about. Feel free to ask in the chat. I also do this on a daily basis throughout the week, but that's more focused literally on the next day opportunities. So feel free to join. It's in the evening. I do believe that doing the pre-market analysis, it helps with your performance. It helps you to be one step ahead and know exactly what you want to do. So to be proactive instead of reactive, and that's quite important, and it's going to eliminate many of the mistakes that maybe you are making just by doing this small task. All right. So where were we last week and where are we right now? Right, and we start with the dollar index. Also, we're going to take a look a little bit of at the news, like what happened last week and what are you looking at for the week ahead. As you can see, a really strong bullish weekly candle. Right, so basically since Monday, Tuesday, we had a bullish momentum and it went throughout the remaining of the week, and then again created another big push with NFP last Friday. Like again, another positive week or month for the unemployment. 254 new jobs were created in here, and the unemployment actually went down one tick from 4.2 to 4.1%. Again, the Fed is expecting the unemployment to go as much as, or the maximum for the unemployment to go until 4.4%, and that's throughout even next year. It's not exactly just for 2024, it's actually more towards 2025, and that's kind of a positive, quite optimistic bet, but that's what the market and the Fed is doing, not the market, the Fed. And that's why they kind of started with this rate cut of 50 basis points. Now, interesting enough, what we saw after this unemployment data is that the market at this point is pricing in almost 100% for a rate cut of only 25 basis points. Like this was also something that the Fed Chair Powell mentioned in this last appearance. I think it was last week on Monday or something like that, where it said that he's looking at only to make another 50 basis points cut until the end of the year, which means that in November and then in December, the Fed is looking to cut 25 basis points on each one of those meetings. And this strong labor market just reinforces that idea of the Fed to take now a slower path instead of just going again for another 50 basis points. And that's basically what the market is adjusted and is positioning at this point. It even for the first time, apparently there's a 2.6% odds for the market or the rate to even stay the same. Like as you can see, 1 week ago that was basically 0% in here, but apparently after this data, that's where we are in here. Right, again, in my opinion, also the labor market is the key data that we or that the Fed is paying attention to in terms of to decide which path to go towards. Again, the goal is to be in a soft landing approach scenario. So the labor market is going to play a big role on that. Next week, what we have is CPI. It's going to be quite weak, to be honest. As you can see in here, starting with on Monday, then Tuesday, there's not exactly a red new event. It's just something more or less important in here. So retail sales in Eurozone, something else again in the Eurozone, until eventually on Thursday, or we have the Fed meeting minutes in here on Wednesday, We'll see if there's anything new that's going to be released in there. Usually that's doesn't really move the market. But then you have CPI, right? And then the question mark is CPI still important at this point for the market? Like, is CPI still going to make or kind of affect the market in any shape or form? And that's basically what you're going to try to find out. The market's expecting to be even a slower CPI, reduced CPI from 0.2 to 0.1 this month, and the core CPI from 0.3 to 0.2. Like, in my opinion, CPI is not exactly that important at this point. It's not going to really affect, for example, in terms of what we're expecting here. I don't think it's going to affect the odds in terms of their next rate cut, but it can always create some volatility. And then you have PPI as well on Friday. On Friday also starts the new earnings season, right? Q3 earnings season, and that's going to be important. I think that's, especially for the indices, I think that's going to be quite important to see how basically all these companies are now looking ahead based on what the Fed did, right? Because again, when they announced their Q2 earnings, no one still knew what exactly the Fed will do in terms of the first rate cut. Now they have an idea, and for sure they are adjusting as well, right? So they can actually mention to see if they are also expecting a slow path from the Fed or more aggressive in terms of rate cut. So it's going to be interesting to see what they are expecting or the projections towards until the end of the year and then beginning of 2025. Again, on Friday is going to start with financials, some big BlackRock and Citigroup, if I'm not mistaken, and so on, and then you carry on throughout the month of October. So that's going to be really important to see, especially with the indices, if this is the top or if by any chance we are going to continue to create new all-time highs on the indices, as we'll take a look at just in a second. Now, looking at the charts, like, let's start with the charts and the dollar index, right? Because as we saw already, a strong weekly candle and price just continue to go. Like, again, we start noticing those breaks. That break of high as well was quite important. We already had a little bit of the break in here that we kind of looked for price to potentially continue to go higher. There was still space at least for price to go closer to this level, which eventually reacted in there, but then just decided to break to the upside. Again, you mentioned that when you had actually this double bottom in here, it looked like that price was ready to start gaining momentum, and that's exactly what happened. And that was on Tuesday, if not mistaken. Like, in the opposite on euro pound, on euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. So price carry on respecting this demand zone. This was a level that we have been already waiting for quite a few weeks. Even when price was in here, we were looking for price to actually go into this structure, and then yes, then could go to the upside. We also mentioned that this one was potentially already engulfed to the upside. Didn't really turn completely bullish, as I also mentioned before, because this high actually ended up respecting this one. If by chance price had done something like this, I would have turned 100% bullish way earlier. So that was something that I was just a little bit cautious in here, but then price started to confirm the turn, and that's exactly what we had in here. In terms of the on Thursday, when I did anticipation or the prediction for the NFP, like I mentioned, that I could see, or I would like to see actually, a potential deep retracement on the dollar, or not deep retracement, that is some kind of retracement before a potential continuation to the upside. Like, breaking this high, that for me was an engulf up. But when you do manage to break an important high, in this case this was an important one, usually you can have those a little bit of retracements before moving to the upside, and that was a little bit of how I would like to see in terms of opportunities to trade the NFP. I didn't really just want to go long in here on the NFP. I actually would prefer to see a potential proper break of a I mentioned that I would have liked to see this level in here being broken to the downside. Which that low was broken. This one maybe it was not, but then price actually retested the zone again. Like, this low needed to confirm the break to the downside. It didn't actually respect it, and after that we had the move to the upside. And on the euro dollar, it was quite same as well. Like, price never really managed to break that basically that level of supply that we had in here, and all of a sudden euro moved to the downside. So there you go. We didn't really have this deep retracement, and this maybe the reason for that is because maybe price had already broken important level of structure in here when it created this highs, and this level actually had that retracement in here. So yeah, at this point right now we do have some structure that price can definitely retest something in here around the NFP day, or if not, then you can look for something a little bit lower, see where price eventually can go and react from in here. All right. good reaction during the NFP, and price went straight away into the next level of structure that we have in here. All right, so that was another level that we had. Basically, there was, we mentioned as well that when price broke this level to the upside, personally, there was not exactly anything that was standing out in terms of for price to just kind of pause and go to downside. Nothing was in here, or there was nothing in there. And the next level was somewhere around this level. All right, so that was one of the first ones, and then price can actually continue to go higher, and you can start looking for price to go even more to the upside in here. So this may be beginning of a new, not beginning, because last week it was beginning actually. Now this can be the continuation to the upside in here on the dollar index. Now price has literally been moving to the upside every single day last week. And of course, FX, you don't really see that happening quite often. So we are expecting some kind of retracement on the dollar index, all right, in here. So that's something to expect this week. Now it's going to occur straight away on Monday, or on Monday, and usually that tends to happen on Monday when you do have a strong momentum day on Friday, especially with the news, and the price actually then continues a bit more. We may have another leg up on the as a continuation of the momentum that was created on Friday. So that can happen tomorrow, and maybe then on Tuesday we finally have some, or you may have some retracement. If price just continues to go, if price already retraces tomorrow, or kind of starts moving to the downside tomorrow, maybe on Tuesday you may have then the continuation in here, right? By any chance, if tomorrow price comes back into this direction here, maybe then we can have that momentum on Tuesday in here. Now this is an interesting level, that's for sure. It's basically where price kind of paused a little bit in there. It paused also around the structure, as you can see. So that was an interesting zone where price reacted from, but eventually now I think I'm a bit more bullish in here. Even looking at the weekly time frame, yeah, nothing great there. Again, on the daily, yes, on the daily, this is basically a supply level that created all this push to the downside. So yeah, we'll see how price may react around this level. If you check into the world time frame, which is not exactly the purpose of this stream, it's more for tomorrow. The ones that I do during the week is one that I'm actually go a little bit more into the world time frame to look for clear opportunities. What we do on this stream is more look for direction for the week ahead, not exactly just for tomorrow in here. So yeah, just looking and trying to see some levels that eventually price can retrace from. This is not a bad level. Then eventually you can go there, and then eventually you can start looking for the zone ahead as well. Like you can even take these highs, maybe react from there, and maybe even in here as well. There's a little bit of a zone in there. The price tried to go, it didn't. Oh, it doesn't. It didn't, and then reacted from there. And then we also have perhaps this level. This already kind of those highs in there. So I actually would prefer to see this one being faked out into that level in there. Yeah, that's something to pay attention here on the dollar index for tomorrow and this week. Like again, good momentum, and we'll see. Yeah, if not tomorrow, then on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm expecting to see. Yeah, I'm expecting to see a retracement. If price just wants to continue to go higher in here, perhaps you can start having some kind of compression as well, which eventually is going to be the target to look for. So what you're going to be trying to be looking in here is to see if you do have a separation in here now. Maybe price can move a little bit to the downside. Maybe can even retest this level and continue. Right? And all of a sudden, maybe this can be a new low that is going to be created in here. All right, so this could be eventually a new low being created, and that low, this structure in here eventually can be a target for the future. All right, whenever Brent price just continues to go higher, maybe test it one more time, whatever it may be, then eventually when you turn, that's going to be a target to look for in here. All right, so that's just an opportunity for the future if price actually just wants to continue to go higher in here. Now the US indices, right? All right, now the US indices, we are here, right? So again, we start to look for some sell pressure. That was already 10 days ago that we started to look for that. We do have this engulf to downside, but price just respected that structure again, and that kind of makes it a bit bullish, to be honest. But it starts showing indication. Or it starts showing indication that price wants to go lower. So As I described last week, or as I mentioned last week, I could see price having some kind of reaction from around this level. That's a little bit where it had last week. And in addition to that, I could still even see the possibility of price faking out this high and only after that moving to the downside. All right, so we could even fake out this level one more time and then come back into it and then go again. Price has been respecting every single level in here. So there's maybe still this level in here that price needs to kind of break or respect one more time until potentially move to downside. Now, if price just wants to respect this sum zone in here, it can also do that. All right, it can also do that and maybe go a little bit more into this zone, respect it, and start moving to the downside in here. So again, the news were good, were positive. Again, the unemployment was quite positive. It's just the market needs to adjust to the scenario where the Fed is going to only cut 25 basis points in November. Another big factor that can affect the indices aside from the Q3 earnings season that's about to start this Friday, of course, is going to be the US election, right? And up until what point is the market already looking and trying to adapt or react to either one or the other candidate to win the election? Like, that's going to be interesting to see if the market sentiment is going to start focus on the US election, or maybe it's already even being also taking into consideration. Maybe it's already priced in the market. We'll see. Like, again, no one really knows who's going to win it, so there's still a little bit of uncertainty, or a lot of uncertainty in that regard. But yes, at this point, I'm just curious to see how price may react around this highs, and I'm totally open to the possibility of seeing price faking out this level and then making another big push downside. Price has been compressing recently, right? So even when it breaks a high, it kind of compresses a little bit, and I'm totally open to that possibility. I like to see that this low already was broken, which means that I could eventually see price moving more to the downside. And again, the level that we eventually want to see price maybe going towards to is somewhere around here at least, to close this gap, and then we'll see what's going to happen next. Nasdaq is the same situation, like, so we broke that low, price just respected after that, and that actually, again, as I mentioned, it makes it a little bit more bullish initially on the short term. Price then broke to the upside, retested this one more time, and now starting to go to the upside again. You can see the compression on the way up, right? You can see how price basically every time it goes up, it comes back down, right? So it's making this kind of a move in here, which means that all these orders are being collected as price is moving to the upside, which is perfect. It's exactly what you want to be looking at or seeing when you are eventually planning to sell on the way back to the highs. All right, for example, if you want to sell at about top, all right, if you want actually then to sell from here, you want to actually see this structure in here being created like that with a lot of compression, eventually the low being broken, and then eventually you can turn, right? So I like it. Again, we still then need to see a low being broken because price is literally respecting every single low on the way up. The only low that was not respected, as you can see, it was basically the first one in here, and that's literally just to create liquidity just before the move starts to happen. After that, basically price is respecting every single low in here, and price is approaching the supply level. Again, as I mentioned, Nasdaq, S&P can still create a new high before maybe turning because price is already reacting from the extreme, but Nasdaq is not. Like, Nasdaq still has all this level in here that can go towards to, so you can still create liquidity or manipulation at around this structure just to attract into that zone. Like, so something like that could happen, but let's see how price may react around this structure in here. I'm curious to see that, and then of course how price may react above this high, and if it's going to go move to downside after that or not. So let it create this trend line, let it create this compression. I like it. I like actually to see that, and I'm going to definitely be curious to short to find opportunities to short Nasdaq under the retrace to the highs. And if a new high is created in here, totally acceptable as well. Again, price is reacting from the structure. There's maybe something else a little bit above where Nasdaq can still go in here. Now, in my opinion, as you can see in here, basically price opened the space and this value in here is still fresh. So that's again where I'm going to be looking for an initial target, or one of the targets, for price to close this gap in here. All right, so again, that's definitely Nasdaq, in my opinion, maybe between or across all the different US indices. It's maybe the one with more clear price action. Dow just continues to go higher, and like again, I don't really like this level. I would like it to see creating new highs before starting to turn. I'm not really touching the Dow at this point. Then we have DAX, like DAX exactly where we're looking for price to turn. It turned. Like actually was looking slightly lower, but you mentioned that there was this gap in here, and that's basically where price went and reacted from. The trend line was there as well, as you can see in here, like exactly the same thing that I mentioned. Compression, look at that. I have the first break of a high, then price goes, and eventually there you go, it fake outs the level and pushes to the upside. This was somewhere in the morning on Friday, and I was looking a little bit deeper to look for the long. Price never really got there, and then it just started to move again, respect to the trend line as well, and it moved to the upside. And now we're looking for price to get into this level in here. Again, this level in here maybe still fresh. Price can have some reaction from here first, but I would like it to see going above this high, maybe getting a little bit closer to this level in there. But before that, price definitely needs to break above this structure, right? So there's no point in looking for much higher than that until actually this high is broken in here. But yeah, nice move on the DAX. Again, as you can see, the compression also continues in here, even though maybe there's a little bit of empty space in there that price can even retrace towards too. But yeah, nice move. We mentioned also the importance of this level, and price is respecting. Like if you actually cover with the high in here, that's exactly where price is reacting from. But you don't have this gap. That's why I was looking for price to go at least fill the gap. Never happened, unfortunately. In here, crypto also we mentioned potential buy pressure from this demand zone as price was approaching this 60k mark. All right, so price basically is reacting like this. We did manage to break above that level, this one in here, so that can potentially be as a continuation to the upside if you just look at what's going on in here. Okay, maybe something like that. All right, it's actually a new high being created in here. Price just retrace back into this structure, and potentially can even continue. We'll see if that's going to happen or not. We were just based on what you could see and this fresh level and the approach, we're just looking for price to start finding some buy pressure at around these lows. Again, look at that, also starting to break some highs. That's exactly what you want to see as price is approaching an important level of demand zone. And there you go, price turns and starts moving to the upside, and let's see where next in here. Right, so let's see what next in here on Bitcoin. Ethereum quite similar. All right, so it came out of the way. We're looking for those longs as well. In here, price starts turning, breaking, and moving to the upside. And now we'll see how price may react from around this level. But really nice move as well on Ethereum. Now looking at the currency indices, and we are looking at Euro index. So it remains within this range. Nothing really much changed. And now we did manage to break above this level. Maybe there can be a little bit more buy pressure on the euro pairs. We'll see if that's going to happen or not. Price is reacting from this level. That's something that we mentioned as well. Again, bigger picture, I'm still a bit more bearish in here. I would really like to see euro index getting closer to the zone. So that would be definitely a level that I'm looking for. But price first needs to break below these walls, right? And at this point, it's still kind of respecting this wall in here at the extreme. Now, it did manage to break above that level, which means that maybe can continue to go slightly higher. But we'll see. We'll see from where. I don't really like how this accumulation of lows in here. Too much structure next to each other, which kind of starts attracting liquidity in the level. So we'll see. All right, and then we have yen index. Like yen index, it's exactly what we're looking for. We mentioned that we were bearish in here. Price was moving to downside, kind of broke structure, kind of retest, respected the high still, and then moved to downside again, broke new lows, and then kind of just a retracement and then continuation. Right, so we mentioned that even though price kind of created a bottom in here, we mentioned that could be just a retrace before price continues to move to downside. The next level is somewhere around here. So price already broke that zone in there, starting to find a little bit of high pressure, but eventually I think the yen index, sorry, it's ready to move to the downside. Again, there has been a little bit of a pause on the, it's the opposite in Bank of Japan. They are actually hiking interest rates, but there was kind of a pause now, a kind of a grim pause between the Bank of Japan and even the government of Japan, where they're going to be waiting to see new factors, new catalysts to actually having them to hike again. All right, so that's a little bit of what. Yeah, that's a little bit of what you can see in here, and price the yen index basically moving to downside, which means that the other yen pairs are actually moving upwards. Yeah, so price basically, as you can see, just took this level. Getting into this structure can be quite interesting. Of course, you need to look left to see what's next level of structure that you need to pay attention. This is one of them that managed to break out these previous highs. Yeah, even on a weekly. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this is kind of a continuation, even if there's another sell opportunity at around those highs or not, or how price is going to react somewhere around this level. Okay, pay attention also this previous level maybe of the month that price didn't really respect it. Price just broke. Maybe there's an opportunity to look for a continuation in here. Yeah, so that's something to bear in mind. Now, looking at the individual currency pairs. All right, so the euro dollar, right? We had the big sell off as well. So again, it's exactly the same as you can see here on the dollar index. It's really strong bearish candle after basically more than a month within that range, and we came all the way back down to go into the next important structure, right? So basically this level in here. Price is still respecting this low. I'm looking for price to get slightly lower, and perhaps you can have that continuation to the downside, like again in here. So price went down. I was again on the euro dollar is quite similar, as you can see in here. Price never really managed to break this structure just before the news. It basically was trading between this level and that level, and the continuation to the downside preserve. Yeah, price was still respecting those highs as well. I could see potentially price coming somewhere in here and then moving down. That never happened. So maybe for the future. Now again, we can have a continuation to the downside in here. I'd like to see price actually taking that low, maybe getting a little bit closer to this level. So that's something to bear in mind, and eventually can even go there. Yeah, so that's something to pay attention. Are we going to find new sell opportunities if price approaches this level, or are we going to be looking for price? By any chance, if price breaks this level, are we going to go and look for more upside in here, right? So that's question mark how price may react if it retraces all the way back into this level. Again, a lot has been taken in here, so maybe kind of one last situation in there. Maybe price can respect. Yeah, we'll see. You'll see, right? But bigger picture, again, price is respecting a really important high. Like it created that liquidity, kind of we talked about that, and then prices start moving lower. We had already a few lows being broken, and yeah, that's basically what we have. Now, this is an interesting level. I'm looking to see price perhaps having some kind of retracement in here before maybe continue to push lower. Pound dollar, interesting enough, pound dollar made a small different, kind of made a different move from the euro dollar just before the NFP, right? Pound dollar actually made a push upwards. There was a lot of momentum to the upside on the pound pairs in the morning on Friday, opposite to kind of the euro that was just getting stuck within that range, right? Basically, the move that pound dollar made, it was the move that I was looking for the euro dollar before a short, but never happened. Like again, in my opinion, these lows, they were still not reacting from an important level, just basically that level. I'm still looking for price to get a little bit closer to here. All right, and that's basically really close where price end up reacting after the NFP, not really gaining that momentum to downside. Again, yes, we are correcting, we are literally kind of moving lower, but we are now just reacting from the lower edge of this zone, right? And we are managing to find some buy pressure in here. Now, we do definitely need to break some highs if price management wants to turn, or if not, maybe this is going to be just a continuation of a retracement or compression until eventually we manage to break these lows and you start looking for price to go even lower. All right. So we'll see what's going to happen. Again, I could see buy pressure or some buy pressure around this structure. So let's see what kind of PI is going to play out around here on the pound. Yeah, euro pound. It's an interesting one, right? So we have been quite volatile in here. Basically, we went all the way up, respected that zone, and now it's moving all the way down, and we have definitely that month zone in here as well. Maybe we can even have that extreme in there as well. So there you go, quite of a momentum in here now to the downside after that strong push up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in here. I could see it getting maybe a bit closer somewhere in there before moving to the upside. Yeah, it depends on the approach, or maybe even somewhere from that level. Aussie continues to push lower again. That was a nice level where it reacted from. All right. Eventually could even continue to go higher, but you did manage to break all this structure and then eventually start turning. And now you create a momentum, Mike. So you mentioned that maybe somewhere in here, or eventually it looks like that this was actually the full range that we were looking for. And that's basically the separation from, second. Yeah, the separation from this level in here starts with this break. All right, this beginning of a zone 3 starts in there until eventually price turns, and now that becomes the target, and basically that's where price already reacting from. And you do have this next level in here that you can look for, right? And that's a bit more of where I'm looking for is Aussie dollar to go towards to, right? Somewhere around this level, below those lows, into something in there, and you can have a potential reversal in here on the Aussie. And that's definitely something that I want to pay attention to, in addition also with the other Aussie pairs. Because this is still kind of an engulf upwards in here. Yeah, we may have a dip, even a deeper turn in here, and the price can even go below that level. But for now, I would like to see an initial reaction from somewhere around here. So I want new lows being created. I want price to go below that level. And after that, we can start looking for more longs. New Zealand, similar scenario. All right, so New Zealand is getting closer to the other side of the range as well. So how that moved down after again faking out this level, reacting from here. Beautiful move, and now we are getting closer to the one of the targets, which is somewhere in here. So that's another type of PI that I'm going to be paying attention to see some kind of buy pressure to start be seen at around this level. If price starts breaking below that level, attention just to something in here. Otherwise, price wants to go into the next level. Now we can have one of the initial targets in here is which we develop the zone with the NFP, right? Of course, first price needs even to break that level. If it just continues to go like this, eventually needs to break that, and then potential target can be here to find more sell pressure. But for now, I like it. I like the approach in here. So depending on our price again, it's going to open tomorrow. I do believe there's maybe an opportunity for a long in here on New Zealand. Yeah, that's definitely one to pay attention to. And Aussie, it's gonna be quite interesting as well. Then you have Euro Aussie. Again, Euro Aussie, I would like it to see still going a bit more to downside. It respected this low. It's starting to show some momentum in here. Basically, we have a strong compression. This is one of the last levels here that's still fresh. Otherwise, price can almost go all the way to retest that level. It's compressing quite a lot in here, so that's going to be interesting to see if you do have that push to the upside on the Aussie. Maybe this Euro Aussie is going to do the opposite and starts moving to the downside and fake out all this structure in there a bit more into something in here. Yeah, that would be the ideal. In there, pound Aussie also started to turn a little bit. Again, I think there's maybe potentially more sell pressure in here, but yes, it also turned a little bit in alignment with the Aussie dollar moving to the downside. Pound Aussie moved to the upside, and somewhere in here potentially is a target. Yeah, looking at the yen pairs and starting with Aussie yen, right? So we are back at the highs. I'm curious to see still how price may react from here. Basically, price just respected that demand zone in alignment with this previous support resistance. So that was a nice reaction. Again, we are breaking highs. There's no confusion about it. All right, so kind of this is what we have in here. And even before that, right? But yes, this is an interesting level. Price already reacted from there. It was a really nice supply where price react. Oh, second. Yeah, it was in here. There's definitely that level as well. Okay, first was here. Then there's maybe something in there. If not, price then eventually is going to continue to push higher. And maybe one of the first ones can also be somewhere around here. If not, then the end just continues. Right, but this is something to pay attention to see what kind of PI we're going to have at around this level. In alignment with something in here. Yeah, so that's definitely something to pay attention to. Again, if the yen index does want to continue to go slightly lower, we can have these yen pairs still making one last leg to the upside, and I would like to see that happening, to be honest. Then we have dollar yen. Dollar yen, there you go, it filled that space. So initially kind of paused in here. We mentioned that euro yen was already reacting from it, and now dollar yen, it moved there, right? So again, good reaction and respected basically this level in here, and then continuation. Again, this was already a break to the upside. We talked about that, and there you go. Now fill this price in here, and we'll see what's going to happen next in here. Yeah, we'll see. It's a key level, potential continuation to the upside. Yep, it could be. Again, our price basically respected that low. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in there. Euro yen is again as I mentioned, initially already reacted from here. So I had already this push down, and price is kind of reacting from that level again. I'd like to see going higher. We did manage to break slightly below that low, but it just respected next level. I would like to see this euro yen challenging a little bit more to the upside in here, or even somewhere in there, right? I would like to see maybe this one being taken. Again, we respected these lows in here, creating kind of a double bottom. When you do have that type of a move, that tends to be a little bit more of a bullish momentum in terms of breaking this high. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in here. But yes, I would like to see maybe that high being broken and price having some kind of reaction at around this level in here. Yeah. And you have that one as well. That's going to be nice. All right. Even better if price starts breaking again below this structure, right? If price starts breaking even in here, then it opens even more door to go further down. Price already reacted from here, so when you do look into the world time frame, price had already the initial reaction from this previous support resistance. That's basically where price reacted in there. So you need to be aware of that, because then starts open door for price just to move lower instead of pausing in here. Unless there's a new demand zone that was created in here and it's still fresh, right? Because maybe this was never react from it. But yeah, when price does react from that level, kind of makes it weaker, which means that maybe price then is free to go into the next structure. Perfect. Pound yen, right? So pound yen as well, a lot of momentum on the pound. Initial price reacted from that level. I'm curious to see how price may eventually react from here. It's already good reaction, but we do need to see a little bit more PI in here. So this was kind of an initial reaction from the lower edge. There's definitely more space a little bit to check the upper edge in there. So we'll see what's going to happen in here. To see if there is a turn or not, or if price is going to continue to push higher. Like, and it's totally possible. Price can definitely continue to move to the upside, maybe even challenging a little bit more of this level in there. Again, just by looking like this, it looks definitely that's still bullish, right? But overall, it's not a bad level, and you had that initial good reaction, so it's something still to consider for potential intraday setups. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. At the end, okay, let me just do it this. All right, Cadian actually managed to break below that level. Interesting enough. They had the move. Again, price respected at above bottom. Yeah, that's nice. Price initially respected that level, and now it broke it. Let's just see actually where price ended up reacting. This decision here. Okay. Back to the upside. Yeah, I have space in there. Price kind of pause in here and then continues. Okay. All right. So and then it reacted from this level. Yeah. So Cadian just continues to push to the upside, and next level is going to be a bit more into that structure. So that's interesting. Yep, just continues the momentum to the upside. All right, CAD pairs. All right, so continuation to the upside in here on our CAD. So this was a nice move, a nice pattern being created initially with respect to the upper edge, then goes into the demand zone, starts kind of going a bit to the upside again. This was still a break to the downside, in my opinion, looking at the bigger picture. It just took that level in there, so I'm still a bigger picture, still bearish, but again, we could have those deep retracements before that. And you can even go above this high. If prices wanted to go, you can even go above that high into maybe something more in there. Again, and strong compression on the way up. This is exactly what we have been talking about already several times during the stream. We do have this demand zone in here that price needs to break to the downside before opening the door to go further down. So this is still kind of a zone where price can feel safe, kind of to the upside in here, or the buyers. And then price can go all the way until there. Right? If you are within this compression, I could still see, or I want to see price actually going above that that high there, and maybe from here we can have a turnaround in here on the card. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. Yep, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Looking at the euro card. All right, again, continuation to downside. So price finally respected that level. We managed to break below it. And I'm still looking for price to continue to go to the downside. I don't really think that price will just stop in there. So I'd like to see going a bit more further down. Again, we start having a little bit of buy pressure in here, but in my opinion, this is maybe just to continue to push lower. Now, where price paused may not really be seen as an important level on the higher time frame, but there's maybe something in there where price actually reacted from. So we'll see. Price did manage to still respect that level, but I would like to see being broken and eventually price to create another breakdown in here until eventually then you have the turn. Pound cards, perfect reaction, right? So this was the zone that we also talked about as a potential buy pressure in here. And that's exactly what happened. Like in the bigger picture, this is basically the range that we've been looking for, and price now reacts from it quite nicely. It went all the way up, basically respected one of the targets, which was this previous support resistance in there, and then again CPI, not CPI, NFP, the big sell pressure in here on the pound cut. Yeah. So it already went all the way. So yeah, it's back into the middle. We'll see what's going to happen in here. But good level where price kind of managed to bounce to the upside, right? Being patient, waiting for price to get actually to those extremes. That does look nice. So we'll see if this holds and price starts moving upwards, or the idea is actually to move to the downside. Yeah. we'll take a look into it throughout the week. Dollar franc Swiss, there you go. Like this was another one. We were bullish. All right, so we started to notice, especially after that break to the upside, start noticing for bullish pressure. We were looking for price to break also this strong downtrend line. Price broke it, respected, and moved to the upside. And then with NFP, it made another leg up. So question mark now is, are we going to finally move away from this level and push higher and maybe getting a little bit closer to this level in there, or by any chance we are going to go back into this madness in here and price will respect something and push price lower? So that's what we'll be paying attention to in here. Yeah, but that those longs, that's something that we definitely were paying attention. Yep, that looks nice. Gold, right? So gold continues to trade within this this range, within that all-time high created last week, or already on 26th of September. So it was even 10 days ago, basically. And keep respecting this level. Again, we mentioned about this potential zone that price could react from, even the zone above as well, right? So two levels in here where we mentioned that maybe gold could still respect just above this size into that level. And there you go. Also, this was being taken and price getting a little bit closer to here. Like, so again, I could still see new all-time highs on gold. I not really going to fight it, not really trading it at this point. Yeah, prefer to be trading something else. Silver, there you go, spike up. All right, so got a bit closer to that level. What time was this spike? Okay, Friday. Where are we? Like, we're getting closer a little bit to this level again. Silver could still see going a little bit more to the upside, but for now, yeah, for now, basic price just respected perfectly that level. Yeah, this is actually an interesting super level in here. So basically, that's where price now is reacted from quite aggressively, and we'll see what's going to happen around this level. I want to see a little bit more of PAs. You can see price still respecting the lows in here, so that's interesting. Kind of a bit more of bullish momentum. We'll see how price may react from this level within this range. It holds and tries to go a bit more to the upside, and eventually, yeah, eventually we can even resume the move without any issues. Yeah, and then we have oil, right? And oil, again, the volatility on oil has been quite aggressive, and the reason for that is the situation and the conflict in the Middle East, right, between Israel and Iran, and now the other players that can also have an impact. And for sure that oil market is going to continue to be volatile. So it's not going to be really about the news. It's going to be in terms of what each country is going to do against the other. Right, so something to pay attention. We saw a lot of bullish momentum in here to the upside. All right, we saw that great reaction from here. That's already 2 weeks ago. And then last week we saw another momentum to the upside, instead respecting this level, but then breaking it and moving to the upside after price respected quite nicely this level. Again, you're still in the bullish momentum territory. The bigger picture, okay, price basically still respecting something in there. Also in here, there you go. We have the push upwards. Price definitely still needs to break to the downside, so we may have one more attempt somewhere in here. Otherwise, price can even go all the way into that level. Yeah. Brent, similar, right? So reacting also from the same level, also reacted from the same structure in here, and now we are getting closer to this level, right? So breaking above it, maybe there's something else a little bit in there, and then can even challenge this highs in here. But maybe from here we can find some sell pressure. I'll be surprised if price maybe just breaks the low and holds it well for a while, but we'll see. So that's basically it. That's basically it for this week in terms of what am I going to be looking at. So just to recap, for this week, and after such a strong unemployment number, 254 new thousand jobs, the unemployment rate decreasing from 4.2% to 4.1%. We saw a big momentum to the upside on the dollar, a good reaction also to the upside on the US indices, even though they found straight away some resistance at the highs. And the reality is that the market is positioning for another 25 basis points in November. All right, at this point is a 97% possibility, or the odds are at 97% for only 25 basis points, and the market is reacting like that. A strong move to the upside on the dollar. It looks like that the bottom may be in place for a moment. On the weekly time frame, we saw a really strong bullish weekly candle, and this week we may have a little bit of a retracement before maybe a continuation to the upside. This week is going to be CPI. Again, CPI may not be the most relevant news or data anymore, but it can create some volatility. We also have the beginning of the Q3 earnings season on Friday, right? So that for the US indices, that can be a really good catalyst to see where, if you're going to continue with this bullish momentum, or if you're going to find some more selling pressure and maybe the top is in place. We'll see. Like, I could still see new highs being created on the S&P. On Nasdaq, maybe doesn't really need to. Moving along with that, again, then question mark is at what point the market is already looking at the US election, and how is that affecting also the market if they are starting taking some positions, bullish or bearish in that sense. Like, again, big question mark as well. And with the earnings season, something that I'm going to be paying attention to is not even to if they beat the expectations or not. It's actually looking for the outlook, what they are expecting for the remaining of this year and into 2025. Like, there are maybe possibilities or two scenarios, which is not two scenarios, two predictions that I'm going to be paying attention to. Maybe they're already looking to see which one of the candidates are going to win, Kamala Harris or Trump. And secondly, based on this 50 basis points rate cut that the Fed did, what are the big corporations, institutions as well, predicting for the future? Right, that's going to be an interesting factor, and the market's going to react to it for sure. In terms of opportunities, I'm expecting a bit more of momentum to the upside on the US dollar, and then maybe Tuesday or Wednesday a little bit of retracement, unless the retracement happens already tomorrow, and then continuation in one of the other 2 days. And the opposite on the euro dollar and the pound dollar. Gold not really touching at this point at the all-time highs. What else? Oil, we can start seeing a little bit of more volatility with the situation as well in the Middle East. So that's something to bear in mind. It's now reacting from a good level, but could still see more upside as well. I'm really curious about New Zealand and Aussie dollar potentially turned and moved to the upside. A CAD as well is still a dollar CAD in this case. It's just something that I'm going to keep tracking for a potential a short opportunity as well. So yeah, that's going to be it. Price now is in the middle. So last week we moved away from the extreme. For example, dollar at the lows, now it's kind of back in the middle of a range. Euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, and so on were at the highs and now kind of in the middle. And when you are in the middle, there are going to be opportunities to either look for buys or sells. Right? So those are a little bit of what we need to pay attention to in terms of expectations from the market. And yeah, good luck for the week ahead. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, guys. Join me as well. I go live again every day, every evening, to try to see what are the best opportunities. Again, today was more of a bigger picture. Tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week is going to be more focused on the next day. So it's going to be more war time frame setups and positions. So yeah, feel free to join, feel free to ask me any questions, and to share also what are your predictions and buys for the day ahead. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.